sure if Riddle try and take Severny gives them a lot of room, right? There's no teams really going up there at the north around them. The closest are the teams in Georgia Pole, so they've got a lot to work with there. Gamer Legion were hitting up Ferry Pier multiple occasions, and I think this has been overall, right? Everyone's just got their positions already, and they sit into it and go, okay, look, it's like a gentleman's agreement without actually having a gentleman's agreement.
It's like why would I bother doing something risky when I can do this that's safe and I get what I want? Yeah. I mean, there's a reason these teams go where they do. If they're really, really unsatisfied with it, they wouldn't go there. I mean, that's just how it is. And if they are unsatisfied, well, go contest people. It's always fun for content, you know?
Well, that's the thing, right? 3D Max, we spoke about them, and we didn't see them go massively up the scoreboards. They were having a few rough games, certainly. But what I'd love to see from them, right? Okay, you've got the team above you in the side of Seek Org.
Yeah.
Do you just at one point say, okay, look, we want to go in for the kills, try loot up really fast and take a challenge? It's a risk. It's certainly risk versus reward.
Yeah.
But it would give you a bit of spice to be thrown in there as well. The only thing is, if they did do that, let's be honest, I'm going to favor Seek Org right now because Sunsy's aim has looked crazy. And look where this circle has popped right over everyone towards this western north side. Riddle, no problem at all for them. The same for Seek Org and 3D Max, who we were just talking about.
Their Riddle up there is going to be in for a good one. I mean, they have a good spot on the northeastern side up by Severny, them splitting shooting range and Severny. The only issue for them is going to be, sure, you have the circle, that means we're not in that much of a hurry. But when you're in an area, if the next circle does shift north of the water, which, I mean, statistically speaking, there's a big chance that it will, there are only so many compounds available, and you could, again, be in for one of those. Well, Circle 2 means, well, there's just 5 compounds left. Everything else is going to be you fighting in the open, which means that if you were trying to rotate to that second compound, to that third compound, where you can get a little bit extra loot, you might not be able to, so you have to stick around in that city for a little while longer, because that might be the only time you really get to loot at all. Unless, of course, if you do end up fighting teams and get picked up something off of them. But 3D Max here on your screen, we talked about them just before, sitting in South Georgia as well. They know for a fact that they have a team north of them in Ballas and Seeking Orc, so they will have that information to work with. And the question is going to be whether they want to push over the bridge and try and go up early, or whether they want to just like wait for long enough to say, okay, they must be gone by now, so there's no fear for us pushing over.
Yeah, and that's always the thing, right? When you choose to opt for places like that, you have to make sure that, okay, let's just keep cautious. Let's make sure we don't just run in and try and go across and actually get picked off early on here. And that's one of the things that actually we haven't seen, right? Everyone's been doing their rotations just on time. They've kind of avoided that kind of early fights going on, especially the teams, say, coming from military base, for example.
Yeah, very much so. Riddle, see them on your screen right here. Had that win in game number 1 yesterday, and then things just didn't really go their way since then. They were, I guess you can say, fortunate to a certain extent not to have to fight the whole chaos and bottleneck south of Potato Hill. They did manage to get themselves a little bit of an easy access to the circle in the end of things, but in the end would get the win. Of course, that's always a tricky thing, no matter how many teams and players you're up against.
I do love some easy access as well, especially when it comes down to PUBG. Let's see exactly who might be working out beneficial positions of these circles as they will start to come in and start to change. Phase 1, though, we've got plenty of time for these teams to work away with. The rotations in are going to be quite interesting, though, because there is a lot of space, right, at the moment, but where these teams are all going to start grouping up together, it's going to be over towards this southeastern side that there are a lot of teams are going to be having similar rotations here. We already see teams trying to make their way up north a little bit as well, just to rotate around and try get in there early. But that central area is very much kind of taken already, so it means they're going to have to fight elsewhere.
I mean, the center area is taken by water because the center is pretty much the river.
The dead center, yes. Yeah. But like you got Georgia Pole, right, which is just on the edge of it. Let's be honest with where they are and how the fights might work out. I don't expect it to go down in the water.
Hopefully not.
That's only what I do on my pub games.
Ah, yeah, true. But nonetheless, I mean, the water is going to be a huge factor, because the thing is, at this point, sure, you can go out in the blue, drive around Yasnaya, but that's going to be the only place you can access the other side, whether you're in the north or on the southern side. You can see it right here as well. The river splits the entire circle. So no matter where you want to get across with your vehicle, if you have to go up north, it's very open. You want to have those vehicles for cover. You will have to cross a bridge at some point if you don't want to go outside the circle, far out east, around Yasnaya, up between Yasnaya and Stalper, and access the circle from up there, which means that, well, for teams that might want to... We saw Gamer Legion do it yesterday, right? Down by military. If people want to sit up on these bridges and say, well, let's just wait for teams to come on in, that could be some easy kills coming in right there.
And that's the thing, right? It comes down to timing. How long are you going to risk it before making that walk across or drive across as it be? Because there are teams who will find themselves posted up. And already, when we do next look at the map, there are so many teams going up towards Georgia Pole and trying to get over towards these bridges. And this is where it's really going to get crazy at this beginning part in this south part of the map.
Exactly, and that's the issue, right? You want to be as close to the water as possible so that you know for a fact that once it does guarantee what side it's going to go to, you can be over immediately. You do not want to have to sit, you don't want to get caught on the other side and have to fight your way over. You just want to get over, get into a good spot and be safe, but at the same time you don't want to overcommit to one side because then it's going to be even tougher to get over on the other side should it shift the opposite direction. So for many of these teams, they want to go close to the water but stay on the side that they're already on, and that's just why you see so many teams down and around the area of Everest. There's so many teams down there. In yellow, you see him and his submarine buddies from Ghost Legion, that is, making their way up. And then you have a crate. That's a, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to pick those up.
Yeah, that's one of those crates where you go, that's a big rip. Riddle have already walked away. They don't care about contesting that at all. But this could be quite an interesting one anyway, just in terms of where we see these teams go down from shooting range.
A 4X in a crate. That is not something you see very often.
True. Very true.
I don't know if that's me just brain farting really hard right now, but I don't feel like I ever see 4Xs in crates.
Well, they're not going to see it anyway because they're not going to go into it, right? They're not going to go and take the fights for it.
True.
But Sokic Nam are going in to find their own fights. Already starting to spray away onto Page, who does escape in the vehicle. And again, the team on your vision at the moment is 7. 7 are the aggressors so far. Not coming with the wins just yet, getting enough points just off of kills. But the problem they've had is they've been going down pretty early. So they've been taking some of these fights, losing one player maybe. And by the time they get to top 8, and when they have got there, it's always been, oh, we've only got 2 alive, or we've only got 3 alive. And that's where it's been a bit of a problem for them. So they really need to turn things around a little bit here because, yes, you can go off this kill point heavy system. But if you're not getting the kills all the way through and keeping 4 players alive, then you're not tactically playing it well enough.
Not saying that you should take inspiration from other teams, but them being an aggressive team, they could potentially look to their, I guess, countrymen in Erangel and see what they do, because they're an aggressive team as well. They do the exact same thing as 7. They just do it 4 circles later. You see Erangel, they always sit on the edge. They never go in early because they know they can take these fights, but they want to do them when they have the upper. Like right now, if you take a fight, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be in a 4v4. Late game, that could be a 4v2 or 4v3. And
you're so true, because remember, where did we see Avangard in the opening circle spend most of their time? Outside the circle, in the blue, driving around, because they didn't care about the damage. They were playing that longer game and then saying, okay, look, phase 4, phase 5, now it's time for us to bring it. And they did, and they brought it in an amazing fashion. Monstrous kills, monstrous performance, and they're currently the leaders of Group A. But this is Group B in front of us here. We are on match 4 because we are playing 5 matches today, which makes me very happy regardless. We've got Erangel all the time. We're going to see Northern Lights make their way across the bridge. And there again, right, they're taking their time here because they're doing it outside of the circle. They want to be one of the final teams going across. And that's going to benefit them because they don't want to be picked off already. Gamer Legion started to evacuate.
See right here, everybody's making their entrance to the circle. You got Personal Courage making their way in far on the southern side, and then up north. I mean, it's kind of a 50 split, a 50-50 split, I guess you can say, with how many teams on either side. But this could really be the difference maker in whether we'll see a lot of teams or very few teams making it into the next one. Because this circle should guarantee one side. It's going to be chaos with these rotations coming in. Let's see where we're going. Center.
Georgia Pole. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the dream. Is it gonna happen? We'll wait and see. I'll take it. I'm happy.
We'll see what happens. I mean, again, right now, you would opt to go north because that's where the majority of the circle is. There's a huge city taking up a lot of including the bay. That's a solid 30% of the circle as well. So you always have that escape on both sides. If everything goes wrong, crash into the city.
And look how quick 3D Max has reacted there. Straight up north, they're going to go and get themselves a good area of cover here. No problem at all for them. And exactly what's happening, though, is Phenom was there a little bit later on. He doesn't want to avoid getting picked off here. But at the same time, actually, Furax from Corp, he's gone in for the kill, found himself the kill onto Riddle's Clib, and they've actually evacuated from North Georgia Pole where they were sitting. They've moved around, and they're catching all of these teams on the rotation. They've got a 2-2 split at the moment, and this could be very interesting to watch go down. They're still taking extra pot shots here, and they're just looking for kills galore. Buster's been forced off the bike, and he's taking further damage from Barlos here, while Zen are also getting involved, and this is where we can be seeing a pretty damn quick game in terms of how we whittle down the players on the server.
As chaotic as it's going to be right now, this means that it's going to leave so much more room later in the game for teams to move around. So we're kind of just thinning it out a little bit. That nade could be right on the money. Just cooked for a little too long. Barlas almost had it. Unfortunately, though, not happening. But as you said yourself, there are like 3 or 4 fights happening right now. You see all of Riddle pushing up on Moleman. He's probably sitting by himself, I think. You have Sixy and you have Cass by themselves on the other side. No, he has Jumbo way up there. So there are 2 guys alive. Riddle lost 1 guy that lost Clip just before. So Moleman is going to be in all worlds of trouble. Sixy doing some damage, but that's elsewhere. And now we see him finishing off Buster.
Poor Buster from 7, right? 7 again. They are going for these engagements. They will take the fight if they're being shot back at. But this time they got third-partied as well, which kept them in an awkward situation to work with here. 3D Max got no problems in the north of George Pole at the moment. It's Stella who are looking to engage. Now, Stella, we didn't see massive amounts from them in the opening games here, but maybe this is where they can start to come alive.
See right there, 30 bullets in the chamber still. They had to rotate out early. And, well, I mean, they didn't get all the ammo with them that they would have wanted, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's great in terms of weaponry, not so ideal in terms of ammo. He has to be careful, and so does Dino as he jumps up and takes a few shots. That nade misses as well.
Watch out.
Hannah, bro, what are you doing?
I mean, it is a small window, right? Gotta say, it is a small window to get that nade through, and unfortunately for him, it didn't work. For Moment, though, I'm pretty sure that he's very satisfied with that nade not coming all the way in.
Yeah, more damage being done here. Jambo is trying to get himself into a position to actually see where they're going to be. They're completely surrounded as of now, which means it's going to be pretty difficult for them to move away. Riddle are going to apply the pressure. They're already down 1 man. They were pushed off early on. Clib was the first one to be eliminated there from them.
Right now, the issue for Moleman and Jambo is they cannot just sit tight and wait for cavalry, because we can see it on our screen. Sixy and Cass, they're all the way over towards Plane Crash. It's far away. It is on the right, like on the same side of the border, I guess you should say, but there's nobody coming in to help them. So what Jambo and Moleman needs to wait for right now is either the third party coming in and clearing out Riddle, or Riddle saying, you know what, it's not worth it to take this fight, or fourth of all, for them to catch them off guard. They need to get some sort of an angle on them. They cannot go out aggressive here because they don't have the info on where these guys are.
And also their position as well. Unless it goes up north, it's going to be, it will have to be a completely northern circle here to benefit them. We're going to see it pop very shortly. When it does benefit, it's not too bad at all. So obviously North George Pole's still in it. We kind of expected that to go down. We've got the fields in there as well. And then Riddle are still going to be in a position, if they can eliminate these 2 players, to work their way down and have a lot of room to move around.
Exactly. See, okay, Bro, Perfectix, and Deep coming up on the northern side, up to the east there as well. They would probably want to go up in the field area, I would want to say. The hills on the east side are very much playable as well, but this is being Riddle. If you're smart, you're Riddle, you have your cars down there. You have your vehicles. Right now, they're fighting for a compound that's not even inside the next circle. There's no reason for them to try and sit up here. They don't even know how many players they're up against because there's been no knocks. Technically, they don't even know what team they're up against. So for the sake of themselves, you have your vehicles down there. Go down, pick them up, get yourself into a good spot. You're so close to the circle, you have a chance to get into a good position, but you're wasting your time trying to hold off these 2 players.
Now, Gamer Legion are down already with only 2 players left in it. They've had some heavy pressure thrown their way. That's less than ideal. Fenerbahce, we spoke about the opportunities they could have had yesterday. Didn't work out for them. They're down with 1 player left alive. There's a few teams close to elimination already. Now, inside games, they've got a nice little setup here. Plenty of cars to work. They got the rocks and trees to work around, and they're trying to fire off onto Oshtek Warriors as they begin their rotation in as well. And everyone's just fighting for that little bit of position. And what we're going to see here from Zen Page and Co is going to be them moving around in at the same time. The difference for them, though, where they're heading to is all the way around. They've going to go outside of the circle and work their way up north.
Nice off angle right there from Hannibro. Got around the side, got him into a good position. And despite the fact that I advised them not to take this fight, they did instead, or did anyway. But look at what happened because of it now. Northern Lights, they were allowed to push all the way up here. And sure, they're a little apart, but these guys, they have the vision on their vehicles. If they start running back down towards their cars now, they might just die immediately. Look at YMD. He's saying, can I rotate with you guys? It shouldn't be a problem, right? Woo, almost run survival too.
Oh no, Ivor sees it and he's like, okay, we'll rip you off the bikes, no problem at all. We'll get some extra kills. And Zokic, nah, that's a team you don't want to kind of do this in front of, right? Any opportunity like that, they'll be working away with. And that's exactly where it starts to be a bit of a problematic situation for these teams because you can't risk it like that.
Fenerbahce taken out there as well. Unfortunately for them, but these rotations are so difficult when you have to cross the water. And you know, it's early game. Oh wow, 7 eliminated as well. Double vehicle explosions meant 7 down and out.
Seven again, going in for the kills, going in for the fights. This time couldn't work out for him. Early on, that team gets eliminated. YMD, he took a lot of damage trying to run away on his bike, and now he's just healing himself up, trying to stay in with it. Perfectix, though, getting a few nice shots off, but Riddle, they're firing back onto it. He's got 8 health at the moment. He's trying to just hide away, get some cover. He's got to be oh so cautious, because Riddle applying the pressure.
And this is what we're talking about. Riddle, they're down to few players, I mean 3 players, I guess. Lost 1 player at least, and they are right now on the edge or even outside the circle. You see Nest now getting in on the action as well, shooting up towards Hannibro. Hannibro had a chance to get an off angle on the western side of the compound, but now he's been spotted out too, so he has to focus on the other guys.
Donzi pushes his way, and those nades come out, and he knows he was done for. Not a single chance for him there. Northern Lights looking to get some further kills up on the board as Dino's just looking to run away. He's got in his vehicle and he's trying to get the hell out of there. Perfectix close on his heels, trying to find if he can get the angles to shoot into him. But Dino's already said, okay, I'm done with this. You can spray me down, but I'm going to try and avoid it all. And that's exactly what he's going to try and do as Ghost Legion are eliminated. Zokic Nam again starting off strong.
And there's nothing Riddle can do here. I mean, you see this, they're getting shot at by all these teams that came in. And the only reason these teams came in is because Riddle didn't go down and take those same positions. Riddle had all the time in the world to just say, we don't need to push this compound. Let's just turn around and go inside the circle. They could have the best positions in this circle because they knew it was going to go here. Had to shift away from water. They knew exactly where it was headed. Didn't work for them though. 60 now, having lost 2 players. Him and Cass are trying to make it work anyway.
Stella still taking this fight with Bosch Tech Warriors. Both have been battling back and forth for quite some time now. There's actually Gamer Legion getting involved as well. Bjorn and Macadar. Get a couple of early kills in there.
And taken down, but right now it's Cass and 60 somehow almost taking out the entirety of Oztec Warriors. There's only Arsenal remaining. He's in a bush. Cass can't see him just yet. 60's running down for the hard cover. It's just on the edge of the circle to see where they are. They're far out on the eastern side. It's going to be really, really hard for them to really get anywhere from here. They do have an uphill run, but Sokdip Nam have just taken the hillside on their left.
13 teams remain, 40 players left alive. Stella, they've gone in for the kills. They've got 3 so far, but it's placements they're going to need to get as well on top of this. Arsenelli still just hiding around in his bush. He's been left alone, at least for now. But as soon as he makes some movement, I'm sure Kaz and Sigsy will be ready for it.
He does have Dictator alive still. Sigsy and Kaz only flushed 2 of the players, and since they backed off, Arsenal might just, if he's greedy enough, be able to go up and get the rest. But right now it's Dino all by himself, not a whole lot he can do. Northern Lights saw where he drove, and they said, well, there was only 1 guy in that con. Let's just pull up on him, get ourselves that spot, and call down. They have OK Bro out by the road, and that should be really, really good for them. But some of these teams that were forced to go down into the city, well, one of these teams are indeed Gamer Legion, and they will have a tough time if they have to leave here.
Hannibro could do nothing to save his team. They were split, 1 on the west, 1 on the east. Riddle now just with 1 player left alive. Okay, you went in for some kills, but I think, well, that's 3 they managed to get in total. Not the ideal start for them once again. They had that early win, but that's all they were able to achieve. And, okay, just stand in the flames. Okay, they've just been added back in. I can forgive him that maybe he forgot, but come on. It's big orange flames in front of you. Maybe you should look at that.
I like how he heals to then run into the fire to then heal again. It was like a little sadistic, you know, like, ooh, fire.
I enjoy the pain.
Yeah, the pyromaniac just getting active.
The smell of burning skin is what he wanted to smell.
Yeah, the smell of burning skin in the morning, or the smell of napalm in the morning, or something like that. Anyway, Makan out of the circle and out of the game as well. Down he goes. Game Legion had a good set, trying to hold people off, rotating on over, but not a whole lot more they could do from their position.
That's huge for Seacork, who was still up in this, right, with I believe 4 players were still alive for that whole team. So 4 players of Seek.org, your rivals in Gamer Legion, at least in terms of points, have been ripped apart here. And this circle is looking oh so interesting. 3D Max got positions that are very vital here. They won't need to give these up for probably until the next circle. They got some time to play with, and depends really where it's going to move. There's a couple of fights going off here, and also you've got Zen, who are just working their way up ever so slowly. They've been in with the kills, but they're not getting over aggressive again. It's the smart tactical plays coming out from these teams.
3D Max have 2 opportunities here. Either you push out from the apartments that you're in, up on the hillside, hold off people that are coming from the city while scouting forward. Or you stay where you are, say, you know what, we're going to sit here until we know there's nobody coming out of George Pool but us. but that will allow for other teams to swoop around and potentially be the ones to gatekeep them. So they have to figure, do we want to go for the sort of the continuous play as to try and predict, like look circles forward? Or do we just want to go with what we got? We say we're a good fighting team, let's just take it one little reaction at the time.
Inside games, though, they did find Arsene Ali. He was sat there chilling, waiting, hoping that no one would find him, and he will eventually be eliminated. That means Oztech Warriors are out of the equation. Tornado still up and in it, X-Team. He's just one player, but he believes he's that of a team. He's got the ability of a team within him. Zen again, look, they're on the scoreboards constantly. Zoke, Iknam, they are unrelenting at the moment, and they're still taking this battle onto Tornado. Not fair in it as well, as you can see on your screens. And they had some moments that were really not fair for them. They couldn't catch a break yesterday. This time around, they're still up and ready, and they've just got 2 players with it.
Yep, you see Sukhdip sitting on the southern side, but right now it's not fair. Rip9 trying to see if he can stay put. He only has 1 teammate remaining. BCG has been eliminated earlier on their first rotation, I believe that was. Now Genso's gone down as well. So for Rip, he has to figure, do we want to run out of this now? Or do we want to sit around, heal for a while, has 4 first aids, and then hope that some teams will be eliminated before he does? Trying to get some shots landed. Actually does manage to get the knock on towards Hickey as well, but there's still many more players to be found.
Yeah, really nice for him to be able to get that, but he's given away his position once again. And now they'll make him a little bit more cautious, right? They'll be looking for the hunt on top of him. Coming out. Oh, just at the timing as well. So they push into the house. Rip jumps in.
Just 1 player remaining. He got some help from up the hill from 3D Max. So it's just 1 more player to be eliminated for him to have at least some sort of room to work with. He's just underneath him.
Joined in to continue to finish off Tornado. He's looking to get that done ever so soon. Rip hungry for more of the kills here. Look at the position. He's going in for it. Confident with it. Looking around the side, but he can't get the kill done. Not fair is eliminated, and that's less than ideal. Kofest standing strong on his own.
And it's actually 3D Max that got the kill on him too. So coming in and saying, well, thank you guys. And that's what we were saying. They wanted to stay in the apartments, clear their entire side. Now Sukhdip though, they're pushing up towards the guys from Tornado Energy. Thank you, Toby. But in the meantime, we have Inside Games. They have found themselves a Northern Light team in the middle of the open, and well, they're saying there's no way in hell you're hiding behind that vehicle, and indeed they want Northern Lights blown to smithereens.
Yeah, Zokic not light on ammo, especially at this stage of the game. We're in phase 6, soon to be going into phase 7, and they are starting to come alive. Hungry for their kills. Page eliminates Melman there, and Tornado are out of it. 7 teams remain. Zokic Nam, they are getting kills after kills. We've been constantly lighting up the scoreboard, and this is where they start to shine. 3D Max, probably their biggest competition here, on top of also Seek Org, and they've all got different sections of the map as of now.
I like what Pixelate does here. He figured we could just kill the entire team down there. Their vehicles becomes our cover. Fussbot all by himself right now. Has Kofest on the other side. 3D Max, you gotta push this one together. Holds the angle. Nicely played by him. Waggle should be able to get rest. As I say that, though, the circle is pushing on in. Phantom goes down as well. But it's all Kofest now, all by himself. Has Noogie and has Hidrick to work against. Doesn't spot the first guys. Oh, nope, not gonna happen. Goes down, but Hidrick actually went down too.
Fosvert, though, I gotta say, I completely respect that. He was able to do quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he was in a good position there, held on as best he could. He was heavily outnumbered, and still that amount of knocks, impressive. Just couldn't get it done towards the end.
And look at who's pushing around to get those finish-off kills. They saw all the knocks. They didn't see any teams finished off other than the one. And now Sukhdip is just taking all these knock players out, accumulating some more points to themselves. And I talked to Ivor yesterday about after the games. They said they were really frustrated with those 11 kill and a second place that got remade. So here, them getting this game instead, I'm sure they're very satisfied.
13 kills already. Page looking to make it 14, and that's exactly what happens. A rampage indeed. Zokic Nam, they're happy just to push 1 player out and be confident they can finish them all off. It's the individual confidence that we see coming out from these guys. Seek Auger towards the other side, over towards the west at the moment. They're having a little bit of a battle off here with Pixel from Inside Games. And he really needs to do his best to hold on here, because this is the long-range fight starting to come into play.
Seagog is a team that you kind of completely forgot we're in this lobby still. They've just been sitting out on the western side with their DMRs, just tapping away at people like they're doing right
Ripping
now.
apart Zokic
They have
Nam,
5 kills already, exactly. They're doing good now. Sunday from Inside Games is getting in on the action. There's only Ivor remain, or PageMake that actually from Sukhdip Nam, and now he's been spotted by everyone, because everyone knows, well, that hill is going to be out. He will have to push down.
Page now just needs to try and stay alive. And just as I say it, he goes down in 5th place. 13 kills in the 5th place, though. That's still very respectable. Can see you right up top on the standings. And look where the circle ends up going. It's going to be very difficult now to push out into it. There's literally just 1 building within there.
Inside Games has played this game extremely well so far. You see their vehicle rolling off. I think it's a thing in this patch with vehicles that don't really feel like stopping when you tell them to. Always make sure to get your brakes checked, guys. spam that spacebar as well as you can. But now nades are coming in. So no, what I want to say, Inside Games, I know them as a fragging team, but they have rotated extremely well this game, and that's the reason there's still 4 guys alive. Played it really well around the northern side, cleared everything, and now when they push down, did it at the correct time, have themselves 4 guys sitting in the middle, and they can hold off the boys from South Vietnam should they be able to.
Look at the utility being used here. Plenty of smokes going down, and that's so Seek-All can get the crossover without too much of a hassle here. Throwing out some grenades might be ideal as well because they've got Inside Games pretty close as they want to try and push over into this. But certainly Inside Games have a really good position. And surprisingly, Kaz still alive, chilling, proning his way in. I got to respect it, right? Because the rest of his team went down quite some time ago.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's still alive is very, 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 very impressive. I mean, I don't know how exactly he managed to pull down that road or that hillside when there were so many teams fighting. Ulstra now taking out 2 players. Alongside Pixel from Seek-All, so just 2 of those remaining. Pixel trying to hold the angle of balance. You can see him here, he's kind of pinned down by himself, and he goes down as well.
Seek-All a little bit too split up here. They're now going to be third party with Phoenix getting involved, and they'll be eliminated in 4th place. This is looking pretty crazy for an end game.
Nobody knows that Cass is alive.
No.
Right now, it's 2 teams against each other. They do see 9 players remaining, so they know for a fact there cannot only be 1 more team in the game. But for Cass, all he has to do is let these 2 teams fight it off, and hopefully, honestly, if he can get some cover, get off a good first shot, because he's a very talented player, he could technically win this game.
Kaz is the Bushmaster as it be. He can allow these teams to fight away. They are aware that there's another one in play, but obviously when it comes down to this, it's trying to count, okay, where have we seen him? Where have we heard shots from? Kaz is just chilling. He can bide all the time he wants. This is going to be the battle between Phoenix and Inside Games for at least the next couple of times, because it's all down to positioning.
It really is. It really is. And all Kaz has to do is just stay put, don't do anything. You cannot attract any attention to yourself whatsoever. Oh, I thought that Nate was right on the money.
Good.
Down to just about 10% HP. And look at this. Exacxa is prone right in the middle. We know it's going to go to the center point in just a few. So all he has to do now is say, I never have to stand up again. I'm going to stay on my chest for the entire remainder of this game, and then I'll just give info to my teammates. Nice shots coming in from Ulstra there. It's actually a Sunday to get the knock and the finish off. Saki now all by himself. He's outside the circle too, and it's starting to close in.
9 kills up for Inside Games. They're looking to add more to it, ripping apart Phoenix ever so slowly. Kaz still proning his way across. I love this little Kaz Cam. Kaz Cam, the Bushmaster, what can he get done? He's slowly getting in the circles. He's made his way in, and no one has a clue where he is. Odd Stralovac, though, having the nade out towards him. Doesn't do any damage, but the pressure is being applied. Got a good split here from Inside Games. Some playing within the circle, close range. The other guys keeping their distance, making sure they can back their team up. Zarxi, like you said, though, continuing to stay prone. He doesn't have to move because he can just pounce at any point and completely sideswipe Inside Games.
He knows he's on the very point at which the game will end, so he has no reason to move whatsoever. But at the same time, he does have to help out his teammates because they're taking a lot of fire right now. He has a surprise position. Nobody knows that he's there. So if he prones up, starts shooting, maybe that could help him out. And for Cass, I don't know when he wants to start chiming in on this. Of course, I would assume to see him not start shooting before he gets shot at.
Yeah, this is it, right? He's not looking to make any noise. The real scary thing now, though, is unless Zarxi steps up and stands up, he needs to come into this fight because he's running out of teammates here. The pressure's being applied. Nades going out. Inside Games, good awareness of where the rest of the players are. It's just Kaz and Zarxi who are kind of just chilling at the moment, waiting it out. Bullen's trying to get over towards him to see if he can be brought up, but that's 10 kills now for Inside Games as Bullen gets shut down. Zarxi now has to come into it, starts to spray in, gets the first, not looking for more. And can he get up with some huge damage? Pressure being supplied. Phoenix have been eliminated, and now it's all on Kaz. It's a 1-on-4. Kaz,
how?
The Bushmaster. He had his little camera, now he's all front and center. We've got all focus on him. He's going to throw it out. Why not? Just waste the utility anyway. Just get it out, get some smoke down, give yourself any further coverage. They're not going to be fully aware of where you are. Can he get a kill? Can he do anything? No, he can't. A nice end towards that for Kaz. He held it up, but Inside Games will take our first game of day 2.